All right. So I wanted to make this because I see a lot of people right now they're on their goals, right? Of course, and that's amazing. And I love to see that. But the problem is they're trying to do too much stuff at once and they don't understand the concept of seasons. So I'll explain to you firstly the three pillars of life I think that are important that people focus on, how people diversify, and what separates the normal people from the people who are elite in all of these three pillars. So what these three pillars are, one of them is health, one of them is wealth, and one of them is relationships. I think everything in life falls under one of these three things, right? Relationships, health, and wealth. Those are like the three things you got to keep in mind. And your goals are probably centered around these as well, right? You might be like, oh, what about self-care and wisdom? Comes under health, right? Oh, what about my wife? Comes under relationships. Everything, right? It's in there. So what people try to do is they have goals for all three at once. And I think it's arrogant to believe that you can achieve all of them in a short time frame. I think it is possible to achieve. Like, for example, if you have a goal of like, I want to get super jacked, 190 pounds, and I want to get a visible six pack, and I also want to make 10K a month by the end of this year, and I also want to have an amazing girlfriend, and I also want to read 5 books a day, and just so much stuff that they add up, right? Like, if you see my goals from like a year ago, it's horrible, it's horrendous. There's like 20 things on there, and interestingly, I did achieve it, but that's because I didn't aim high enough. And some of them I wasn't able to achieve, so that's going to be a reflection I'll talk about. But there's this guy named Eric on YouTube, and he makes these YouTube videos, stunts, whatever, and you've probably seen some of his videos. And what I was interested in is how he rose so fast, because he only started YouTube in 2020, right? And that to me is like 3 years, like that is crazy. He started off with 1,000 subs, and on January 1st, 2021, he's like, in 1 year I want 100K subs. Or not 100K, I want 1 million subs. He said that in 1 year, 365 days. And to me, I hear that, I'm like, all right, what is this guy gonna do, right? But then he talks about all the stuff that he didn't do. I'm like, oh, he definitely got it. He said he didn't work out at all, no exercise. He only had one friend, and that one friend was his editor. He never went out to parties. He never went out to go talk to anyone. Didn't have a girlfriend, right? He missed Christmas. He missed Thanksgiving. He missed all these other events with family. And he spent 1 year dedicated to getting 1 million subs. And guess what? In 1 year, on the last day, December 31st, he hit 1 million subs. And you know what he said the next year on January 1st? This year, I'm going to get 10 million subs in 1 year. And guess what? You probably know what I'm going to say. He got it. But he didn't get it on the last day. Actually, he achieved his goal 4 months earlier than he was supposed to. He got 10 million subs in 8 months. 8 months. And I think I know why. It wasn't some act of luck or some like, oh, he's crazy, all of this, right? It was simply focus, but not the focus that you have like when you sit down and work. It is macro focus. So there's a difference. There's micro and there's macro focus. Micro focus is when you're sitting down, you're trying to work, but then you pull up your phone and you start talking to someone. You're like, oh, I forgot to work. Go back to your work, and then, that's focus. That's micro focus. But then there's macro focus, which is, what am I focusing on in the long term? And a lot of people don't realize this, right? Micro focus is easy to diagnose because it's in the moment. There's a small difference between when you get distracted and when you get back on task, right? But in macro focus, that focus can shift over months, and a lot of people don't notice this, right? I'll give you an example. Let's say you say, I want 1 million subs in a year, right? And for the first month, you're working on it. You're like, yeah, this is great. And then you watch some other YouTube video, and some guy says, to grow your YouTube channel, you just need to get a daily newsletter. And you're like, oh, newsletter? That's how this guy grew so much and made so much money. So then you start your newsletter. All of a sudden, now 50% of your energy is going towards that newsletter and 50% is going toward that channel. Automatically, you split your attention in half, right? And so you're doing both of these, and as you add more things to this list of goals that you're trying to achieve, your time to achieve that goal doubles. So let's say, initially, it is guaranteed that you're going to hit your goal in 1 year. If you just said 1 million subs in 1 year. Let's say that was Iraq, right? But what if Iraq started a mailing list 1 month in? It probably would have taken him 2 years then. maybe a year and a half, right? If he worked hard. But it probably would have taken him 2 years to get to that same point of 1 million subs simply because he split his focus. Now, what if he started a third thing? Someone said, oh man, you need to start a course and try to sell it in your videos and get all these sponsorships and all these things, and all of a sudden he split him half again, right? 25% for getting to 1 million subs in a year, 25% towards his daily newsletter, 25% towards his course, 25% towards his community on Discord, right? Whatever. All of a sudden, he split across 4 different things, and now to hit that goal of 1 million subs, it's not going to take him 1 year, but it's going to take him 4 times as long, which is 4 years. Of course, the math is not like 1-to-1 ratio, right? It's not like exact 4 years. Maybe it'd take him less, maybe it'd take him more, but you get the idea, right? By splitting your focus on a macro level, over time, you're not going to do the same things that you said would get you to 1 million subs. You're falsely believing that it would get you there, when that's not true at all. And so what happens in this is that if you have multiple goals on your goal paper, like I did, I said I wanted a 1500 SAT, and I want 35 on my ACT, and I wanted a 4.5 GPA, and I wanted 170 pounds, right? While I'm lean and have a 6-pack. I also want to get 100K subs on YouTube. It's like I was able to get 2 of them. I wasn't able to hit the rest, and I knew that I wasn't going to now. It's obvious to me because I wasn't focused. I didn't have one thing that I was focusing on. I had to split my time and attention across 5 different things. Of course, I hit 2 of them, but I think that was simply because it was easier for me to hit that than the rest. 100K subs is way harder than a 1500 on SAT, I think. And so, what I'm trying to say is, if you have all these big goals you're trying to achieve, I'm not going to tell you to stop achieving them. But if you want to do a lot of big things at the same time, your time frame will have to extend a lot. So again, let's make the default 1 year. This is not true entirely, I'm just using it as an example. Let's say 1 year for any goal you want that's big, right? Let's say 1 million subs, or let's say you want to make 10K a month, however that is, through a business, right? Let's say your goal is 1 million in a year. To hit that 1 million, initially it would take 1 year, right? But then you say, okay, I also want to get a 6-pack and weigh 170 pounds. Okay, now your attention split 50-50. You might be like, how? Well, to get that 6-pack, let's break down the steps, right? You need to focus on your food. You need to meal prep, which takes a while. It takes a while to cook food. Let's say that's 2 hours a week, right? Whatever. And then you need to work out consistently. Let's say that's 6 days a week. Each workout, typically, if you want to grow, takes about an hour and a half or 2. Let's just round up to 2. So that's 1 hour a week, plus 2 hours for 6 days a week, which is 12 hours. So that's 13 hours a week you're putting towards fitness, right? That's a lot of time that could have been gone back into making your business, right? Now let's add on to this, because that's not only it. When you work out, your body is physically and mentally tired. So you can't think straight. If you've actually worked out right and you work out to failure, you can't think straight, right? So if you can't think straight, automatically the next 2 hours after your workout are just dead. Like, you literally can't do anything. And I feel this on my own. Like, when I work out now, I'll explain how my schedule works. But when I work out now, it's just like I do it and then I come up, I'm like, oh, let me just lay down on my bed, and then I'm dead. Like, I literally can't do anything. I can't work. I literally can't read. Like, my brain hurts. So I rest for a bit and then I get up. That usually takes an hour and a half or 2 off your day. So let's add this on top of that, right? That's another 2 hours, 6 days a week. So that's 25 hours a week. That's gone towards simply fitness, right? And all of that time, 25 hours a week, right, could have gone towards your business easily. And so that's just one thing. Keep that in mind. Let's say you're also trying to do this SAT goal, right? You're trying to get a good score on an exam. Ideally, you dedicate an hour a day or 30 minutes a day to studying SAT. Let's say it's an hour a day. 7 days a week, that's another 7 hours. That's 32 hours a week that are going to something other than your 1 million subs a week, right? 1 million subs in a year. And so all of a sudden, 32 hours are gone from your entire week simply by adding 2 extra goals, right? And that's only 2 extra goals. Let's say you're also saying, I want a high GPA, which a lot of people I think do because you're in school. Let's say you are in school, right? High GPA. That's going to take another extra, I would say 30 minutes maybe a day or an hour a day towards it. 7 more hours. 39 hours a week are gone towards 3 other goals other than you trying to hit 1 million subs in a year. Now it's not going to take a year because all this time is gone towards something you're not doing. You're not supposed to be doing. And all of a sudden you're making it harder for you to achieve that one goal. So do you see where this is going? Like, sure, you'd have more time on the weekends, but it's not as much as you'd have by simply focusing on one thing. Sometimes I see these success stories and I'm like, man, how did they do it? They got so lucky. But then I realized they gave up all of their health. They gave up all their relationships, right? Remember the 3 pillars, just to focus on their wealth. Look at billionaires, ultra billionaires. Their lives suck. Sure, they're rich. They have one of the biggest companies in the world, but like, they're on like their 6th divorce, right? They have 8 children from different parents. They're all fat and pudgy. None of them have their lives together. It just sucks. Sucks to see. I don't want to live that life. But I have a bunch of money. All right, great. Your life sucks, And then there's, let's say you maximize yourself in fitness, right? But you gave up relationships, sometimes wealth. Sometimes you can get rich through fitness. Most of the times the relationships suck. Like, we all see those stories of like, I don't know, Kanye divorced Kim K, whatever, right? Now the kids are like in limbo of like, who do I stay with? You're ruining the kids' lives and your own life sucks now, right? It's just horrible on all ends. Like, every musical artist, mostly all of them, nearly, none of them are fit. Name one fit, successful in the music industry. Like, there's not one person you can name. Maybe like some outlier who's like 70 years old. But I'm assuming you don't want to be 70 years old and have all those things. So basically what I'm trying to say is that you can't achieve all these things at the same time. There will be an opportunity cost that comes with everything you do. Basically what that means is, if, for example, right now, I was invited by my friend to be like, all right, let's go out to eat, right? Let's go watch a movie. By choosing to watch a movie with my friends, I'm giving up on the chance to work on my YouTube channel, to work on my college app, to get closer to my SAT goal, to work out a little longer, to, read and gain my knowledge, right? That is opportunity cost. By accepting one thing, you're giving up thousands or hundreds of thousands of other options. And so what goals are supposed to do for you are they're supposed to be like, okay, this is the thing you value. If someone asks you anything that doesn't add to this, you throw it away. So if I had that goal of like one goal of just 1 million subs in a year, then my friend invites me out to go eat. I'm like, oh, no, I got to work on this thing. And now you might be like, okay, isn't that an unbalanced life? I don't want to live that, right? I don't want to have to be some social hermit who's not doing anything. And I'm not saying you do that. I just gave you that example of billionaires. Like, their lives suck. So this is where I invite the concept of seasons. And I heard this from a guy named Alex Ramosi. Amazing. He's one of my idols. And what he talks about is seasons. There's a seasons for each of these 3 things. For wealth, for health, and for relationships. So what you would do is put the other on maintenance while you're working on one thing. So here's an example, right? Let's say everyone on Earth has 100% focus allocated to them. Like, there's only 100% you can hit. You can't go past 100%. And you have to split them evenly across these 3 things, right? Health, wealth, and relationships. And to split it evenly across all 3, of course, you can do the math. That's 33% for each. But that means you're not great in any one thing, right? You're mediocre across all 3. But what if you spent 6 months working on one goal, or 1 year working on one goal, right? Let me spend this 1 year getting to 1 million subs. But you take 5% of that energy and you put it towards maintaining your relationships, maintaining your health. Here's a concept, right? Before, I used to work out 6 days a week because I was focused on health, right? I wanted to get my physique up. I wanted to get to a good place. And now I realized, and I searched up this, how much is needed to maintain muscle. You could work out 2 times a week. That's one exercise, 3 sets, for each body part in a week to failure. And if you do that, you can maintain your muscle forever. 2 workouts a week. And Alex Ramosi himself does this right now because he's focused on like his own business, right? He's trying to grow. He's trying to do this book launch. And he was talking about it on a podcast. He's like, yeah, I only work out 2 days a week, because what I have now is a passive body. And that concept to me, passive body, was so interesting. Because although it isn't passive, right, you still need to work out. It's not as much as needed to build muscle. The amount of effort needed to build muscle and the amount of effort needed to maintain it is like, it's literally a huge, gigantic difference, right? Again, 2 days a week is nothing. And I've been trying that for the last like 2-3 months. Or sometimes I bounce around. Sometimes I'm 5 days a week. Sometimes I'm two. Whatever I think is great. I bounce around. I've stayed at the same weight. Matter of fact, my diet stay the same. About, I don't track my diet, but I get like 200 grams of protein. Right. That's like a guaranteed. I have to. I always have a protein shake near me, or like I have like 5 in my garbage can right now. But 200 grams of protein. That's my entire diet. Work out 2 times a week. I've maintained the same body I've had for such a long time. Haven't lost my six pack. I'm still like pretty. I haven't lost any muscle. My weight's the exact same. Because I want to focus on wealth right now. So what you're doing, let's go back to that 100% focus concept, is if you only have 100% focus, I'm putting 5%, maybe 5% towards health. And that 5% includes simply hitting 200 grams of protein and 2 workouts a week. That's it. That's all I'm doing. That's 5% of my entire thing. So instead of 100% towards wealth, I put 95% towards wealth, 5% towards health. Now, of course, I also have relationships, right? I also have friends that I got to take care of. Again, you can do 5%. Be like, okay, we'll go out once a week. We can talk once a week. And, for me, I have a different view on friends. I try to only keep friends I believe will help me in the future, or I think are like valuable. Right? I don't keep stupid friends around. Most of my friends are like good people who have good morals and good ethics, and they have goals they're trying to work towards. And to maintain friendship with them, we genuinely just do the same things. Like if we're all working, most of my friends work on YouTube. Like they have YouTube channels, right? They're all trying to grind school. They're all fitness geeks, right? We're all just amazing people trying to do amazing stuff. And in doing so, we're friends simply by doing the same things. And I don't have to maintain relationship with them because one of them I work with. Like we're literally doing the same YouTube channel. So it's like, that's maintaining the relationship in and of itself. And let's say you even have like a girlfriend, right? You even have a wife. It's like, tell her, talk to her. Be like, yeah, so I'm trying to focus on wealth. I'm trying to get rich in this next year. Is it good if I put us aside? Maybe we'll still talk, we'll still have whatever, but it's not going to be as much as before. And, I'm just trying to focus on this thing. And she'll most likely agree if she's a good wife, a good girlfriend. If she doesn't agree, you should probably reconsider your relationships. Just saying. And maybe there should be a conversation had about like who's actually valuable to you. But it's just seasons, you can do that for 1 year. For 1 year, put 5% towards relationships. Okay, we'll go out, we'll talk one day a week. All right, whatever. One night a week, we'll go out somewhere. For your health, 2 workouts a week, enough to maintain 200 grams of protein a day. Simple. That's 5% for each. And all of a sudden, you have 90% energy to focus on for your business, right? Now you can grow it with as much energy. It won't take you 1 year because 100% I don't think is an ideal life to live, because then you'll live the same lives as billionaires, which is pudgy, horrible relationships, whatever, no experience in anything except wealth. I'm not going to sit here and say that's a bad thing, but personally for me, I don't value that. Like I want to be balanced, or not balanced. I want to have growth in one thing, but not so much where it's a sacrifice of other things. So right now, I'm just going to be focused for the next 6 months, 7, 8 on YouTube. Right? That's it. And then after that, I'll be like, okay, if I've hit my goal and I have like a passive income, I might be like, okay, let me get back to health and fitness for a bit. Maybe for like 4 months, I'll go 90% on fitness. I can maintain my YouTube channel. I don't have to upload as much. And I can maintain my relationship still, right? And still do that. And so, again, let's just focus on fitness again and then put wealth to the side. And it's just seasons. Like, think in terms of months or even years. Like, you can think in terms of years. And if you're young, this is difficult. I understand. It's like you've never thought of anything in years before. And I think for me, I'm lucky to think in that because I set goals for myself a year later and I actually hit them. So my mind, I'm reinforced for like thinking long term. A lot of people don't have that. But I guarantee you, if you just do it and push through and are able to actually set that goal, you'll actually get somewhere. So there's always seasons for everything. Just like there's fall, summer, spring, winter, right? There's maybe some one period for fitness, one period for health, one period for wealth, right? Just those three pillars. And if you can get those down, I guarantee you'll be able to live like a much better life than most people simply because you have macro focus, not micro focus. And so yeah, that was the concept I was trying to get across. And just if you look at your goals right now, see how many you have, and be like, can I complete these at different periods of my life? Can I instead of 5 goals right now, let me just do this one right now, hit that, and then maintain it, and then do the next. Because maintenance, again, like I told you, it's easier than you think. For fitness, for anything else, this is a passive body for me. Don't have to do much to maintain it. Um, at some point, if you build a big business, it's passive. Like you don't need to be in the weeds as much as you were before. Relationships, if you've built trust with someone, if you've built some time with someone, just tell them. Be like, yeah, I got to do this different thing, and you can just there's so many ways you can get out of it. So yeah, just think about life in that way, because I believe, and I'm going to reiterate my point, I believe if you think you can do all these things at once, you are arrogant. That you can beat the guy like Iraq who sacrificed everything to get to his goals. Right? It's arrogant to believe you can do everything while this guy's sacrificing everything. So just think about that. Thank you for listening. Hope you like this format. It's nice, just talking to the camera. And yeah, let me know what you think.